there too here as people hop on. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. We are the Diverse Learners Cooperative, and we're excited to have you all here today. We're going to be talking about how to support students' emotional well-being, especially with this transition this week from school, as we know it right now, remotely, into more of the traditional summer format. So we are going to introduce some of our guest hosts today, and we're also going to share about the focus areas that they're going to be sharing with you today. So if you're new to us, we are the Diverse Learners Cooperative, and our mission is to connect teachers to relevant professional growth opportunities and resources and networks of other teachers and leaders in order to help them really support their diverse learners by using best practices and strategies that will really set up everybody for success. We do this through creating resources for everybody, collaborating in spaces like this, especially virtually over the last couple of weeks, and providing opportunities to coach teachers within their school buildings and virtually as well. So we have two amazing guest hosts today, Maggie Rollins and Samantha Jacobs. They are both elementary school counselors here in Metro Nashville Public Schools, and they're going to be sharing today about different topics about supporting students' emotional well-being. So some three focus areas that they're going to touch on today are talking about the role of grief during this time for our students, strategies for calming a child in distress, and tools for reducing anxiety, both for our children and for ourselves as well, especially as parents. For those of us working with our kids at home over the summer, we want to make sure that we're taking care of everybody's needs at the same time. So I'm going to turn it over to Maggie and Sam. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box, and Brooke will go ahead and answer them for you, and we can save them for the end as well. We'll have time at the end to answer questions. And we're recording this session as well so that it'll be posted on our website if there's anybody that you want to share it with after the fact. All right, Maggie and Sam, take it away.
Awesome. Well, so good to see you all this. One thing that you might notice, I've noticed this in my own children at home, are a lot of behaviors that may be out of the blue, where they become upset and it doesn't seem to have a real reason behind it. I know my son has fallen apart, you know, at least every other day, just trying to understand what's going on. I think he's still trying to wrap his brain around this new normal. And so the iceberg theory really relates to that. We see as parents their face, you know, their behaviors, but there's a whole lot going on underneath the surface and things that they're thinking about. And they might struggle with expressing that and having the right words to verbalize what's going on, so that a lot of times as children, they express it with their behaviors. And sometimes as adults, we do that too. Yeah. We can go to the next one, Mary. This quote really goes along with that. When little people are overwhelmed by big emotions, it's our job to share our calm, not join their chaos. And during this time, that can be really hard, especially when we're going through a lot too as parents. So making sure like our tone, our body language, those things really model that calm, that peace that they need, especially when they're in the midst of a storm, which can be really hard when we're trying to do stuff, when we're trying to have a craft or an activity or get on a Zoom. I know my kids have been pretty frustrated with technology. And our students here at Norman Binkley, we have 47% are ELL and 12% have an IEP here at Binkley. So I know like I've heard from parents, like, it's not been easy to do this remote learning, so just having that empathy for yourself and for them, compassion, and then even going into summer, like thinking through, okay, the loss of, not really getting to say goodbye to their friends. And that kind of goes into the next slide. Thank you so much for doing that. Which is really grieving. Students are grieving right now, and it can be the loss of like their routine. My kiddo went through his entire routine and told it to me like in a narrative, like he really needed to tell me everything that he did, at school. And maybe they don't have the words to express like what they did. I have another kid. I have 3 kids, but my second child is less verbal, and he can't really verbalize, okay, I really miss my routine, but he'll just break down, crying. And I'm like, okay, he's grieving. He's grieving his friendships, the places that he used to love. We used to love to go to Plaza Mariachi every Friday night. I mean, like that was a thing. And, they're thinking through all of that. And it's almost like a collective grief right now. Not being able to do the things that we usually do. And it really helps to process that, even though it's hard. Like as a parent, it's really hard to do the feeling stuff because we have so many other things that we need to do. But allowing them to process that pain can be really helpful. And the next slide kind of talks about ways to process pain. So the tasks of grief are first to accept the reality of the loss, experience the pain of the loss, adjust to the new environment, and then reinvest in the new reality. And so right now, that can look like a lot of different things for every person because every human experiences grief differently. And, with our cultural backgrounds, it's just so complex. And it may move in different ways than this model for each person. Acceptance could come and go, but really the process is important when we're experiencing the pain. So creating a playlist of songs that help you process it, with children making like a scrapbook or a collage or painting or drawing, whatever that child, can connect to. Adjusting to the new environment. So doing the things that we're doing now, like this is our new normal. And especially going into summer, this summer we're going to like research a few state parks because a few state parks are open. I know the pools aren't, but and we're going to try to, look into those as a family. But that's just what our family's going to do. That could look different for yours. And that's the way that we're going to reinvest in the new reality. We've also planted some trees. We've got a blow up pool, like these are the things that we used to love to do, like go to the pool. And so we're going to try to make it fun, in our own way. So Samantha, my co-counselor, has some really great tips for the parents.
Everybody. So whenever we think about anybody, this could be children or adults who are grieving and also just in distress in any way. If you are having anxiety, if you're in a conflict with another person, anytime that you really feel your body kind of being escalated, maybe your heart is racing, you feel your body getting hot, any of those feelings that could cause distress in your body, here are 4 quick ways to just physically calm your body down. TIP is just a little acronym. We love acronyms to help you remember. But the first one is temperature. So an extreme change in temperature for your body can be really calming whenever you're in distress. So this could look like splashing cold water on your face, holding a piece of ice for a little while, just anything that is an extreme shift in temperature. All of a sudden, maybe you put your face in front of the air conditioning vent, just something to change your temperature. Intense physical activity, that could be doing jumping jacks, going for a quick jog around the block. If it's your child, you could say, hey, why don't you run up and down the stairs a couple times? Whatever works for you, but just something to get their heart kind of regulated and get them moving for a little while. The first P is paced breathing, and this could look like a lot of different things. A really simple one that we do with our students at school is we call it square breathing or box breathing sometimes, and we call it that because you can just trace a box with your finger. But if you breathe in for 4 counts, hold your breath for 4 counts, breathe out for 4, and then you just repeat it. That can be a good way to regulate your breathing, and it stimulates, I think it is your central nervous system it stimulates, and it just helps calm your heart rate and calm your body. And then the last one is paired muscle relaxation. And sometimes we call this progressive muscle relaxation, but this just looks like tensing up your muscles one at a time and then releasing them. You could go from head to toe, toe to head, whichever way works for you. But just practicing tensing up all your muscles really tight and then relaxing them. And for 5 counts each is just a simple, easy way to do it. Then the next thing we want to talk about is just communicating through the conflict. So it can be really difficult, and I don't have children, but I have experienced this just with my husband and cohabitating with anybody for a long period of time in a small space maybe. It's really important to make sure that you are communicating effectively. So especially with children, we're trying to teach them empathy, and that can be really hard, especially when you're at home. And so one easy way to do it is just practice reflecting and validating your child's feelings. Maybe they're acting out, maybe they are crying or throwing a temper tantrum or something like that. So reflecting their feelings and saying it out loud. I can tell that you're really angry, or it's okay if you're really sad about missing your friends. Things like that, and just verbalizing it. Like Maggie was saying, a lot of the times our kids don't have the words to express how they're feeling. And so that's one way that we can help them as adults, is putting words to what we can tell are their feelings. And it also helps them feel validated. It's okay that I'm sad. It's okay I'm frustrated. A lot of people are missing birthday parties or activities they were excited about, and that's okay. And so just validating that for our students is really important too. I statements are a really quick way to reflect how you're feeling without blaming. And so this may be helpful for children or also for adults, just saying, I feel blank when you blank because blank. So for example, I feel frustrated when you don't put your dish in the sink because it makes me feel like you don't respect my time, or something like that. Putting together how you're feeling and what is causing it can help the other person understand where you're coming from on your end. Here are just some simple coping skills that can help anxiety or grieving or just the change in environment and lifestyle that we're all experiencing right now. So these are all things that parents or children could do. You could do them with your family. So going for a walk. I saw something on the internet, ideas for like giving your kids a scavenger hunt. Maybe walk around the neighborhood and see if you can find a dog, see if you can find a swing set, just giving them a little list of things you're looking for while you're on a walk. That's a really simple thing you could do to make it a little exciting. Drinking cold water is another example of just regulating your body temperature, doing a puzzle, just doing activities together, listening to calming music, giving someone a hug, or like maybe cuddling on the couch with your child could be really relaxing. That physical connection is really important for us. And then here's just one last quote, or I guess just a metaphor. It's important to remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. So it's hard for you to take care of your children when you're not taking care of yourself. And that could look like a number of different things. I know as parents, you don't always have a lot of time to take care of yourself, but maybe it's just when you first wake up in the morning, taking a few moments to do some deep breathing or practicing some meditation. It could look like right before you go to bed, doing some light stretches, maybe reading a little bit of your favorite book, having some quiet time, painting your nails if that's your thing, just making sure you're taking a little moment every day to take care of yourself, so that you are filled up and you are able to support your child. Does anybody have any questions?
Comments or
I have a question actually. I've been thinking about with my own family and whatnot, how do we transition from school to summer in a way that feels different? And even though it feels like more of the same, do you have any ideas for that?
I think that's a great thing to brainstorm together, on this journey. I think maybe even doing a family meeting, something that my family does not like to do because it feels, I'm a counselor, and so my family knows that. And they're like, that feels too school counselor mom, But coming together and brainstorming some options and letting everybody have a voice so they can really take some ownership in the new season that we're in so that we can find some hope and some joy in this together. I think, planning some activities, some things that would be fun. And one thing I put up in my house is it's okay to not be okay. Because I was dealing with like this feeling of like, I need to be okay. This is great, and I'm like, you know what? It's okay to just be a little messy, right now. This is tough. And call a friend, Those are lifelines, those conversations, because the loneliness is real, and also remembering like my family can't always meet my social needs,
One idea that I've seen families that I know do for the summer, and obviously this is before this quarantine life that we're living, but like Maggie said, is having a family meeting. And I've seen some families do like a summer bucket list. I wonder if that could be a fun activity for everyone to kind of sit down together and make like a poster or just a page where you can think of activities, brainstorm what would be some fun things we can do as a family this summer, considering our current circumstances, and then have like a checkbox. So the kids could maybe look forward to checking it off every time they get to do one of their items. That could be just a little way to make it more like summer, even though they're still at home.
Yeah. Finding the bright line between school and summer has been something on my mind. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great question.
I have another question too. We've been working with a lot of teachers who have been providing a lot of social emotional support to students virtually. And so for teachers to set kind of that boundary with summer, what is some language that they could use to be able to say to students that their communication with them might drop off or might decrease or might stop altogether? What's a helpful way to explain to students why that's happening so they don't feel any, anger or additional grief or any of those emotions towards their teacher that they might have again next year?
I think that's a really good question too. I wonder if it would be helpful. Some thoughts that I'm having are if they said something like, I'm glad you're going to have a lot of time to spend with your family. I look forward to talking to you in the fall. Or, I'm going to spend time with my family. Just kind of encouraging them, like, it's summer, we're all going to take our break now. And just reminding them that, kind of like Brooke was saying, that there is this transition, even though it might look the same to them. It's summer break, you're going to get to do these fun things at home, and I'm going to relax, and I really look forward to talking to you in August.
I just threw on the chat what we're doing kind of for the transition. And most of you guys talked about having younger kids, but I have older kids at home, and it's really just as hard for them. Like I have a 16-year-old and then a 19-year-old that just finished her first year of college. And I think probably her feelings were very similar to like a kindergartner. So
yeah,
that was hard.
Yeah, it's important to remember that even, it might be teenagers or like adults. I think I probably have had feelings that are similar to a kindergartner too at this time. So that's a great reminder. We all, kind of going back to those tasks of grief, it might not look the same for everybody, and it's not always linear. Like we don't always process it in the same order, but we do all kind of go through similar feelings. And I think no matter what age you are, you would maybe have those same feelings. So that makes a lot of sense to me that your teenager is having a hard time with it.
I love how you're still going to continue your family traditions in a different way.
Right, right. Just
Really
like a
meaningful.
trip. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. That's great too, to help your kids have this sense of stability. Even though maybe circumstances have changed, they're still getting to do their regular tradition.
Mhm. Well, I want to make sure we're following our time.
Yes.
So good to see everyone. And you can reach out to us. Here's our contact information.
Mhm.
This was
Yes.
fun.
Great. Well, we really appreciate Maggie and Samantha. If you have any additional questions for the DLC as well, you can reach out to Brooke or I about this topic or about additional coffee chat topics we've had in the past. And we're just grateful for everybody's time that they've given. And we really hope that you all have a smooth transition from school year into summer. And just be on the lookout. We have some exciting things planned for summer from our team that we'll be sharing with you in the next couple of weeks. So again, appreciate everybody's time, and let us know if you have any other questions.
Thank y'all.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.